Are Russia's missiles getting more high-tech? Did you hear the slip-up that shook the NATO summit? And will newly delivered F-16s change the course of the war? This is week 124 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'm Anna Belliker, reporting to you from Kyiv, and I'll be taking you through the top 3 stories from Ukraine from this week. Monday was a heartbreaking day for Kyiv and all of Ukraine. Russia launched a deadly air attack on several cities, exploiting gaps in Ukraine's air defense to wreak huge destruction and terror. 44 people were killed and 196 were injured across the country. Most notably, the largest pediatric medical center in Ukraine was struck by a Russian cruise missile, destroying one of the facility's buildings and damaging another 4. The UN estimated that there were more than 1,000 employees and 670 children in the hospital when it was hit. Children with the most severe conditions travel from all around the country to receive treatment at this hospital, which is located in central Kyiv, not too far from where I'm sitting right now. The Kremlin's official line is that Ukraine struck its own hospital with an air defense missile. This version of events has been entirely debunked by Western, Ukrainian, and even independent Russian analysts. There's video footage of an intact missile flying into the hospital, and the Ukrainian Security Service released photo evidence of missile parts found amongst the debris at the site of the attack, leading to widespread consensus that the weapon used was a Russian Kh-101 missile. It's still not known how exactly Russia was able to circumvent air defense to directly strike Kyiv, which has the most tightly guarded skies in Ukraine. Former Air Force spokesperson Yuri Ihnat said that Russia may have upgraded its missiles with heat traps or radar, while others say that the incident was likely more about strategy than technology. By striking Kyiv with multiple missiles from multiple angles, Russia was likely able to overwhelm Ukrainian radar and find a trajectory that went undetected. One thing that the experts agree on, however, is that this attack was probably not the last of its kind. As of right now, Ukraine is still not permitted to use Western weapons to strike targets deep within Russia, meaning that the strategy is still to deflect and repel Russian attacks over Ukrainian territory, rather than directly take out the air bases and planes from which these attacks originate. The 75th Annual NATO Summit concluded on Thursday with the signing of a historic Ukraine compact by 32 allied countries. The Security Compact pledges continued military and economic support for Ukraine and was accompanied by a pledge of over $40 billion in funding for Ukraine for the next year. Several individual countries also announced new aid packages and security agreements with Ukraine. Notably, the US and others pledged to send dozens of air defense systems to Ukraine in the coming months. Ukraine did not, however, receive any definitive news about its path to NATO membership, which wasn't entirely unexpected. American officials had warned beforehand that an official invitation was extremely unlikely to be extended at the summit. Still, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg reiterated that Ukraine's path to NATO is irreversible and claimed that the support pledged by NATO at this time constitutes a bridge for Ukraine to eventually become a full member of the alliance. The conclusions of the summit were overshadowed in the news, however, by one very damning slip-up. While welcoming Volodymyr Zelensky to the stage on Thursday, US President Joe Biden referred to him as President Putin.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it.
Zelensky laughed off the mistake, joking that he's better than Putin, to which Biden responded, "You're a hell of a lot better." So, to summarize, there were some positive steps taken at the summit, but Ukraine's key requests have still gone largely ignored, despite NATO's insistence that they do see Ukraine as a future member. 1 year ago, Denmark and the Netherlands founded the Fighter Jet Coalition with 9 other NATO countries, which pledges more than 70 jets to Ukraine. As of this week, the first F-16 fighter jets are finally on their way to Ukraine, according to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Although the jets will be critical in challenging Russia's air dominance, particularly over the Black Sea, experts agreed that they will only have maximum impact when Ukraine is allowed to use them to strike targets within Russia. Of the countries that have pledged jets, only Denmark and the Netherlands have said that they'll allow Kyiv to use them to strike targets on Russian soil. In the year since the fighter jet coalition was announced, Ukraine has had to train its pilots to fly the jets and update its outdated infrastructure to store them. There's also the matter of protecting the planes once they're on Ukrainian soil. Ukraine has more airfields than it has air defense systems, and Russia is well aware of this. Attacks on Ukraine's airfields have ramped up in recent weeks as Russia continues to test Ukraine's defensive capabilities. That's all for this week. We'll be back next Sunday with more news from Ukraine. Your support is what makes our work possible. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to become a member of the Kyiv Independent community, please visit the link in the description below. I'll see you next week.